I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, November the 9th, 2015. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu met today with U.S. President Barack Obama at the White House for the first time in over a year. The two leaders held a joint press conference ahead of their meeting in which the president stressed that his commitment to Israel's security was one of his top priorities.
In light of what continues to be a chaotic situation in Syria, this will give us an opportunity to discuss what's happening there, and we will also have an opportunity to discuss some of the concerns that both of us have around violence in the Palestinian territories. I want to be very clear that we condemn in the strongest terms Palestinian violence against innocent Israeli citizens, and I want to repeat once again, it is my strong belief that Israel has not just the right but the obligation to protect itself.
Netanyahu thanked the president for the opportunity to strengthen an already strong alliance and for the aid and support of the United States.
And I remain committed to a vision of peace, of two states for two peoples, a demilitarized Palestinian state that recognizes the Jewish state. I don't think that anyone should doubt Israel's determination to defend itself against terror and destruction, but neither should anyone doubt Israel's willingness to make peace with any of its neighbors that genuinely want to achieve peace with it.
At the press conference, President Obama also offered condolences to Israel over the death of former Israeli President Yitzhak Navon. Navon was Israel's fifth president. He died on Friday at the age of 94. Navon also served in the Knesset and as education minister. He is remembered, among other things, for his continuous efforts to promote Jewish-Arab coexistence and democratic values, and for building bridges within Israeli society and between Israel and its Arab neighbors. Navon was also a writer and playwright. He is survived by his second wife, Miri Shafir Navon, a son and daughter, and several grandchildren. 7 Israelis were wounded in 3 separate attacks that took place in the West Bank yesterday. In the first incident, 5 Israelis were injured when a car driven by a Palestinian plowed into them at a bus stop at the Tapuach Junction. The driver was shot and killed by border police officers at the scene. The injured included 3 men moderately to seriously wounded and 2 women, one of them pregnant, were lightly wounded. They were all taken to Rabin Medical Center in Petah Tikva. In the second incident, a civilian security guard was stabbed and lightly wounded by a Palestinian woman outside of the settlement of Beitar Elit. She was shot and injured. And a 48-year-old man was seriously injured in a stabbing attack outside the Palestinian village of Nabi Ilyas. He was evacuated to Meir Hospital in Kfar Saba. And this morning, an attack was prevented in the West Bank Jewish settlement of Alfei Menashe when a Palestinian woman approached Israeli Defense Ministry guards with a knife at the Eliyahu checkpoint. The guards asked her several times to stop and fired a warning shot in the air, but the woman continued at the guards and she was shot and killed. Palestinian sources identified her as 23-year-old Rasha Awisi of Kalkilia. She reportedly left behind a note in which she stated her intentions. The border policeman who was critically wounded in a car ramming last week in the West Bank has died. 19-year-old Binyamin Yakubovich was severely injured on November the 4th when a Palestinian driver intentionally ran him down at the Khalkhul Junction near Hebron. Yakubovich died yesterday at Jerusalem's Hadassah Hospital in Ein Kerem, becoming the 12th Israeli fatality in almost 2 months in the current wave of terror. He was laid to rest this evening at the Kiryat Atta cemetery. A rocket was fired into Israel from Gaza yesterday. It landed in an open area in the Sha'ar HaNegev Regional Council. No damage or injury was reported. Israel Air Force jets retaliated overnight, striking a Hamas terror target in Gaza. The western region of the Friends of the IDF raised over $31 million in funds at their gala this weekend in Beverly Hills. The star-studded event was chaired by FIDF National Board member and major supporter Chaim Saban and his wife, and was attended by business, philanthropic, and political leaders, as well as those in the entertainment industry, including actors Jason Alexander, Antonio Banderas, Liev Schreiber, and Jason Segel, all part of the 1,200 attendees from the United States and Israel who came out to support the men and women of Israel's defense forces. And taking a look now at our programming for tonight, Monday, November the 9th, at 7:30, the rise of anti-Semitism is discussed from the Jerusalem Post conference. And at 8 o'clock, we remember Kristallnacht, the Night of Broken Glass, which occurred on November the 9th of 1938, with a commemoration at Congregation Netivot Shalom in Teaneck, New Jersey, followed at 9 o'clock with Ernie Michel and L'chaim, who lived through Kristallnacht, recalling the horror of that night, and his book promises to keep one man's journey against incredible odds. Then at 10 tonight, Rethinking Jewish Identity is explored by noted philosopher Rabbi Adin Steinsaltz from the 92nd Street Y. And coming up on tonight's In the News, Associate Director of the Anti-Defamation League in Washington, Mindy Reinstein, discusses the House resolution calling on the U.S. government and European governments to do everything possible to protect Jewish communities from anti-Semitism. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, November the 9th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.